everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Last episode, we looked at the Prophecy Whites and a Rosé. Today, we're going to look at the Prophecy Reds. This is a Gallo project. Remember, they had the Victo from Hong Kong. She's an illustrator. She did these fantastic labels on here. They're all line priced at $12, which is, great value. By the way, I did want to ask this question, and I'll ask it at the end of the episode. That way, you can remember what the question was. That's probably smart on my part. Although we got a few interesting answers on a few questions that I've had, and I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the input. I like people to come out and make comments. I try to respond to those comments as much as I can, and I really appreciate it very much. So give your input. I like to hear it. It actually helps me because, I'm a wine guy. I sell wine to people at the store. I like to know what people's opinions are. It helps me to understand people's palates and, what they're interested in. So let's get started right off the bat. Now, this is interesting. I think the idea was kind of like Dave Finney with the location wines to grab or to get fruit from these areas that are famous for the varietal. I don't think they're totally into that whole idea based on where these come from. So, if I were going to do Pinot Noir, where would you go? I would think Willamette Valley or where else, but this one is a California Pinot Noir. This is the Prophecy 2019 Pinot Noir from California. This rolls in at $12. $12 Pinot Noirs are hard to find. Good $12 Pinot Noirs are hard to find. I know of a couple, but I'm very interested to see where this one lands. The only one I wasn't very excited about in the last episode was their Chardonnay. So let's see what their Pinot Noir is like. Color is fairly dark for a Pinot Noir. It's light, but a little darker than I'm used to with Pinot. But of course, down in California, you're going to get riper fruit. And don't get me wrong, California does have some great areas to produce. The Santa Lucia Highlands, Monterey Coast, all around there. You get Russian River. You get some pretty good Pinots in those areas. So they do have areas where they can produce some very nice Pinot. They're far different than Oregon Pinot or Burgundy Pinot. So a little darker. Let's see what we get on those. Get a little bit, well, obviously cherries, ripe cherries. You get a hint of cola, ripe cherries. And I'm going to say just a touch of Asian spice. Let's see what we get on the palate. Ripe dark cherries. Nothing wrong with this Pinot Noir at all. This is like a little bit of a juicy Pinot Noir. Has a little bit of California sunshine on it. It comes through. I get a little bit of spice on the back end. This Pinot actually isn't like a Pinot from Oregon, like I said, or from Burgundy, but it definitely has that kind of juicy, fruity quality to it. There's nothing wrong with it. I know a bunch of people that would love this Pinot Noir, especially Meiomi Pinot Noir lovers would love this Pinot. The cola notes come through on the mid palate. Finishes with just a touch of spice. It has some things going on that you don't necessarily expect from a $12 Pinot Noir. Fairly decently long finish with that cherry cola thing going on. Maybe just a kiss of root beer as well. If you're into Burgundy, you're not going to like this Pinot Noir. If you're into Willamette Valley Pinot Noir, you may not like this Pinot Noir. But I kind of like it for a whole different reason. This is a Belglas style Pinot Noir without the big bigness of a Belglas or a Meiomi. It's a lot lighter. Therefore, but this is one that you could just sit and sip while you're watching a good movie. You see, there's not enough acidity to say it's a good food Pinot Noir, but you could have it with spaghetti, probably. You Maybe some pizza would work. It's just real simple, delicious Pinot Noir for $12. I'm going to go B- on that. I think there's no flaws. Just fruit forward, but not over the top fruit. It lacks acidity. I'm going to go C plus B-. I just think it's above average. It's a good Pinot for the money. Let's move on. 2018 Prophecy Red Blend, an American red blend. So what does that mean? Well, they're not going to tell you where they got all the fruit from. The Prophecy wines are based in Modesto, California. Cool label on this. So nice label, $12. Let's see what we get. Say an American red blend. That's an interesting. You don't see that a lot. Just saying. So they can source the fruit from a lot of different places. They probably get most of it from California, but they don't put California on there, which I find quite interesting. American red wine. Are sourcing fruit from? Are they getting some from Washington, from Oregon? I don't know. Mexico? Who knows? No, it can't be Mexico. I'm saying, come on. It says an American red blend. Now, how much a percentage of that wine has to be from the U.S. to call it an American red blend? It's South America. I don't know. Just saying. Very dark. Almost dark purple, crimson. Yeah. Almost hedging towards black. This is very dark. Of course, they don't tell you the varietals that are in this. Let's see, just real quickly. Premier Global Vineyard sites individually selected to bear each of the varietals' defining characteristics. Prophecy Red Blend brings together fruit from 2 renowned winemaking regions. Interesting. 2 renowned winemaking regions. Could it be California, Washington? I don't know. Very dark. Let's see what we get on those. This has a little funk, a little, dare I say it, clams. I'm having trouble picking up what's on the nose, really am. Got a little vanilla. I'm getting some currants, I'm sure. There's definitely a little vanilla action with currants and vanilla and I don't know, maybe just a touch of bark. Let's see what we get on the palate. So not really, almost kind of one-dimensional up front. It's just like currants, and maybe mixed with a little dark cherry up front. Then on the back side, you almost get this almost a vegetal component. Interesting. I'm not sure I'm excited about this wine. I'm just saying. Almost like a green tobacco thing going on the back side of this one. But I'm going to call this a boring wine. It just, I mean, there's fruit for sure, there's currants, but it just doesn't have complexity. It's just like a one-trick pony, you know. And it's you can't get anything out of it. It's, you know, the Pinot Noir was much more interesting than this is. That green tobacco sort of currant thing on the finish. That's where it really kind of changes, like there's a little bit of a light switch from the currant to that, but it's just not exciting at all. Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to think about it, it's great wine, but I just think, even for $12, you know, you want something that has some complexity. This lacks complexity. There's nothing wrong with the flavor up front to finish. then you can just get that little bit of a kind of a green tobacco thing on the backside with the currant, but it just doesn't, there's not enough acidity in this wine. The tannins are pretty soft. Yeah, I'm going to go C minus. It's not, there's nothing terrible about it other than the fact that it doesn't have complexity. So there's no flaws in this wine except that it doesn't have complexity. So I'm going to go C minus, below average red blend from Prophecy. Let's move on to the Cabernet Sauvignon. This is 2019 Cab Sauv from California, Prophecy. All right. Give it a little rinse. Yeah. I'm just calling it like it is, guys. You know, I have to. If I'm going to help you spend your wine dollars wisely, I've got to be as straightforward as I can with these wines. So, Cabernet Sauvignon from Prophecy 2019. Again, very dark. Dark as a red blend. Can't see through it, really. Maybe barely. Let's see what we get on those. This has kind of a branchy sort of vegetal thing on the nose as well. Getting a little spice action. Currants. And a little bit of that kind of branchy leafiness. Kind of like a brambleberry or bramble bush thing going on. Also just a hint of vanilla as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. A little more going on than the red blend. There's this kind of nice little, almost like currants and plums, like black plums up front. Interesting for a cab to have that black plum flavor. Wonder if they mix a little Merlot in there. I don't know. A little spice on the backside. But the initial attack is a little more interesting. It's a little rounder fruit up front. There's actually some complexity to this wine for $12. A little earthiness underneath, which is interesting. So it has that kind of plum, black plum, currant, a little earthiness underneath, and then it finishes with just a touch of spice, which I find, you know, I mean, this is a cab for 12 bucks. I would serve to people. I mean, they would like it. I like it. The vanilla comes out right at the very, very back of the finish. So it has a little bit of length on the finish. Yeah. Interesting enough, complex enough, not super complex, but you know, it has some stuff going on. I like that currant black plum thing. I would venture to guess they have a little Merlot in this, but I don't know. I don't see the spec sheet on this. And then finishes with just a kiss of spiciness, which I like a lot. So this is a great $12 cab. Actually, it's a dangerous cab because you can knock that cab back pretty quickly and not even know. There's a little bit of a tannic thing on the backside, which is good. You expect that from a cab. I think it's a pretty good bottle of wine. I'm going to go straight up B, B minus B. I think it's, you know, for a $12 cab, it's pretty darn good. I'm just saying. I like the Pinot, but you know, I know some guys that wouldn't like it if you're into the you know, Willamette style or Burgundy style. You're not going to like it, but I think it has its place in the market. Skip on the red blend. Here's the question I have: how much does the label influence your purchase? I've been in this department, in this wine business for a long time, and I've heard a lot of comments. People are drawn to labels. Are you drawn to labels? Does it matter to you? Do you care? I, myself, have seen people change their labels. I have one producer from Washington State that changed their label, and I cannot sell their wine now. So I know labels matter, but what is your take on it? How do you feel about that? I want to hear your answer. Give me some comments. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for taking a little time of your day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.